social distancing. Gotta stay away. Stay away. We all have the cooties. That's funny. Hare Krishna. Okay, good. Let's put that on. Water first. Chanted nicely for Tulsi worship. Good chanter. The youth take over. Get rid of the old people. All right. There's so many devices and things. Okay. We're online. Jaya Radhamadhava Kunya Bihari Jaya Radhamadhava Kunya Bihari Gopijana Balaba Idibaruda Ure Gopijana Balaba Idibaruda Ure Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Munatera Manachade Yamana Tera Vanachare Jayo Radhu Madhuva Kunja Vihahuti Jai Radha Madhuva Kunja Vikhari Gopijana Balaguva Kiri Varadhare Gopijana Malabha Girivarudade Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunate Rabbanachate Yamunate Rabbanachate Jai Ho Radha Madhova Kunja Hare. Jayo Radha Madhova Kunja Bihare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya All Sutana Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Avaya Jananana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Huidas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Purabo Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyam Kun Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Machuranam Ki Jai. Jagadasami Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Srimati Lasadevi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Prema Nanda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gauravani Journey Nivishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deja Tardi. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, 22nd Chapter, Text 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Na Mayodata Purvam Va Anratam Tad Ime Vidahu Ekaikashaha Pratichadvam Sahai Veti Su Madhyamaha Namayodita Purvam Va Anritam Tadime Vidahu Ekaikasha Pratichadvam Sahai Veti Su Madhyamaha Na Mayodita Purvam Va Anritam Tadime Vidahu Ekaikasha Pratichadvam Sahai Veti Sumadhyamaha Namodita Puram Va Anritam Tadimai Viduhu Ekaikasha Pratichadvam Sahai Veti Sumadhyamaha. Okay. Puram Va. Na, never. Maya, by me. Udita, spoken. Purvam, previously. Vai, definitely. Anritam, anything false. Tat, that. Ime, these young boys. Vidahu, no. Ikashaha, one by one. Pratichadhom, pick out your garments. Saha, or all together. Eva, indeed. Iti, thus. Sumajamaha, O slender-waisted girls. So translation, I have never before spoken a lie, and these boys know it. And that's a lie. Therefore, O slender-waisted girls, please come forward either one by one or all together and pick out your clothes. So you can repeat, I have never before spoken a lie. And these boys know it. Therefore, O slender-waisted girls, please come forward, either one by one or all together, and pick out your clothes. Interesting. These boys are all his, what we call in Hindi, chamchas. Anyway, no one knows Hindi here. Chamcha means like a spoon in Hindi, or yes man. Just like you see in Hindi politics, they say this, someone's a chamcha. So all of Krishna's friends, young, these are real young boys, are actually just like his yes men. And the only person who makes a mistake as far as being the yes man is Madhu Mangal. Sometimes, he is Krishna's yes man, but sometimes he makes a mistake and something slips out of his mouth to get Krishna in trouble. Anyway, so we'll read Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary and the other commentaries. The gopis said, because you are a liar, we don't believe your promise. Krishna then answered, biting his tongue. So that's like in the Western world we do cross the fingers. In India it's a common expression, bite your tongue. That means you're lying and you're getting away with it. Krishna answered, biting his tongue, I have never told any lies. From birth till now I have not had any occasion to lie. What is the proof? These young boys are witnesses. They are reliable as witnesses because they naturally report whatever they see. The gopis said, from far off, please throw the clothes to us in the water, or have the young boys bring them here. Krishna said, how am I to know which is your clothing and which is someone else's? How can I give them to you if I don't know? As I am very religious, I don't touch others' things, even with my fingernail. And actually, he's put the clothes up in the trees. You must come here and recognize your own clothing, take them. I do not take, give, or touch others' things. That is my rule. And actually, according to the goddess of learning, Saraswati, that's actually true. It's true and not true simultaneously. Because he's touching and taking the gopis' clothes, but actually, he doesn't touch others' things. Why? Everything belongs to him. So the gopis all belong to him too. So he doesn't bother anyone else. There's someone who doesn't belong to him. The gopis said, because you are so impudent, you can disgrace us. Out of this fear and being respectable women, we will not go near you. Krishna said, one of the young girls among you can come forward. If she is not disgraced and returns to you, then others can come one by one. Or all can come together. Because if you were all together, it would be impossible to disgrace you. The head is called the topmost part of the body. It is very beautiful. Please show me your heads. If you can show your heads, then you should not be embarrassed to show me your other beautiful limbs, including your beautiful waist. Sumajamaha. That's actually a common expression. And in the Ramayana, that expression was used in relation relationship to Surpanaka, actually, who wasn't slender-waisted. She was actually had a beer belly. So Jiva Goswami comments, we can understand from your laughter that you are lying. All that I have previously said is not a lie, or I have never told a lie before. All my friends here know that, since they are familiar with my behavior thoroughly. But your friends are also similar to you. That's the gopis are saying. Your friends are also similar to you. Come forward one by one and take your cloth. If my words prove false for the first ones, then the later girls need not come, seeing my words are a lie. But if the first person does not get permission to come, then it will be difficult for any others to come. Why delay? Understanding that I do not have crookedness in my mind, in my words or mind. Therefore, maybe you should all come together. You with your thin waist, Sumajamaha, have been in the cold water a long time. Remember I mentioned it's about between 50 and 60 degrees in the water. It's cold. I don't go swimming when it's that cold. Be merciful and come to the high ground. I desire to see the beauty of your waist. My goal has nothing to do with your clothing, which is true. That is the deep meaning of his words. And so, actually I'm going to talk about a different topic today. So, na mayo de ta puram va anritam tadi me viduhu ekai kasha prati chodhom zahai veti sumajamaha. So I want to relate to this word anritam, which is actually a very interesting word in Sanskrit. I looked this word up, and it turns out that anritam is the name of a person. And in the Bhagavatam and in the Puranas, there's the whole story that himsa is the wife. Himsa means violence. Like ahimsa means nonviolence. So himsa is the wife of falsity. And falsity's name is adharma. And they had a kid. They had kids. You know, some of these things can be taken metaphorically, and some of them are actual, so I'm not going to comment on that particular aspect. So they had two daughters, which was Anrita and Nikriti. So two nice daughters. And Nikriti means wickedness, which is really interesting. And Anrita definitely means asatya. Satya, of course, means truth or eternal, like that. And asatya means something that is adharmic or untruthful. So that's that's the origin of the word anricha. It's not anitya, anricha, because it refers to this nice lady. So this is something that's really important as far as Dharma is concerned. I wanted to talk about truthfulness today, obviously, because in the Western world, you know, truthfulness, sticking to one's vows, or even being honest with oneself, they're not very important considerations. And people say so many nonsense things, make so many promises, don't keep promises, get married, get divorced, have their eternal loves for the week. Like sometimes we're talking to university students, a girl will come and introduce me to her eternal love. And then next week there's another eternal love. Eternality doesn't last very long in the Western world. I love you forever. And, you know, and people, you know, people get married and they have these prenuptial contracts right now. Prenuptial means before getting married, you make a contract that if your mother-in-law is nasty to me, I get the house. Anyways, you make a contract. You can tell who I spoke to last night. So, true. So, anyway, so, you know, anyway, I get the dog, you get the house, you get the cat, whatever. You get T-Luck. So, anyways, so in this way, people are just planning on not keeping their promises or not keeping their words, and it's lying. And of course, we understand it's Kali Yuga, so it's all right to lie. No, it's not. It's like sometimes people say, well, just like we mentioned the other day that some lady quoted from the Shastras because she couldn't fulfill her obligation. She said, well, ladies are supposed to be less intelligent, so that's why I'm acting less intelligently. So you can use different Shastra conjunctions to justify acting adharmically. So, of course, in Kali Yuga, we understand that there are, and actually throughout all the yugas, that there's 4 principles of religiosity: cleanliness, mercifulness, truthfulness, and austerity. This is talked about in the Bhagavatam. And, cleanliness is gone in Kali Yuga. I mean, basically because of illicit activities. And other reasons, too. I mean, just people, don't wash their hands. And actually, Prabhupada said the mouth is actually the dirtiest part of the body. And so people don't wash their hands or anything before eating, wash their hands after eating, don't wash themselves before going to the bathroom or after going to the bathroom. I mean, it's just really unclean. So anyway, cleanliness and mercifulness is destroyed. Actually, interesting, by intoxication, it's mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Because when you're intoxicated, not only the intoxication of liquor or marijuana or whatever, is that you lose your sense of morality. And just like I was talking to one devotee last night, and this devotee, which remained nameless to protect the innocent, this devotee told me, I'm not going to mention whether it's a man or woman, told me that when the family gets together in the bars, and they go get drunk together, family drinks together, stays together. Anyway, when the family goes to the bar, then so many expletives, like 4-letter words, and oh, sorry. That's to protect the innocent that I'm not close to the mic. So many, and then even the political discussions, about, whether who's in favor of Trump or who's in never Trumper. That's an interesting expression, isn't it? It just gets violent, basically, and everybody in the bar is watching, I don't want to see you again because you're voting for Trump. Anyway, the family, love. So there's no mercy amongst the family members. So you lose your whole sense of balance, cleanliness, merciless, and austerity, like that. Actually, no one in Kali Yuga is austere. Not no one, sorry about that. I was reading about some yogi in Vrindavan who lived for like 250 years, and he was pretty austere. So, of course, in India, it's considered you're healthy if you're fat. So, if you're not, nowadays, if you're thin, they say, "Oh, you're so." It's actually true. I go to Fiji or India, and they say, "Oh, you're so sick. I feel sorry for you." And then someone comes with, a big belly, and I say, "Well, he's really healthy." So, anyway, so there's really no austerity. And then, so those are gone. Those principles, of course, the principles of religiosity compared to the legs of the bull, which have been cut by Kali, and Kali's working on the 4th leg, which is the leg of truthfulness, which is destroyed by lying propaganda. And actually, we're seeing this to practically the highest degree, with the media and everything like that. Fake news, just so much propaganda. And it says, and I forgot the name of this particular point, that if you say something false enough times, what's it called? No, but there's actually a psychological name for it. That if you say it enough times, and Hitler used it too, but there's a psychological definition of this, and that if you use it enough time, it actually becomes something that people believe in. And really, that's what's happening. So the point of the gopis are saying this to Krishna is actually a very heavy thing. That you're lying, because in that culture, like Prabhupada actually considered that someone who didn't fulfill their vows, or lie basically, which is a type of lying, he said they're not even a human being. Like I was listening to one conversation. I don't want to get heavy with anybody, but anyway, I was listening to one conversation where devotees asked Prabhupada. It was in Hawaii, and it was such an interesting conversation because they were trying to bait Prabhupada and get Prabhupada to say something that was Ramaswar, who really is enthusiastic about book distribution, wanted everyone to go on Sankirtan and distribute books, was upset that some people were living outside the temple. And he said, what about those people living outside the temple? And he sort of like intimated to Prabhupada that none of them were chanting or anything like that, or they weren't following the regulative principles. And then Prabhupada said, if they're not chanting their rounds, they're not even a human being. Prabhupada made that heavy statement. But then another devotee corrected Ramaswar. He said, actually, some of them are actually chanting. And Prabhupada said, okay, that's all right. So it's interesting how people will, in that case, the devotee actually used indirect falsity to try to evoke a particular statement from Prabhupada. That anyone living outside the temple was an absolute Maya and whatever like that. So we have to be careful about presenting things like partial truths or presenting things in a certain way, and that's a type of falsity, giving people the wrong impression. And anyway, Ramaswar was doing that. So anyway, so one has to be very strict. So those are the four principles of religiosity: cleanliness, merciful, truthfulness, and austerity. And I want to bring up some quotes, actually one from the Shastras, from the 8th canto, that is a statement of Bali Maharaj's that indicates the importance of telling the truth. And of course, in this particular story, excuse me, in this particular story, Bali Maharaj is being encouraged to lie. Why? Even his spiritual master is encouraging him to lie. Because his spiritual master is worried about not getting so much dakshin anymore. Why? Because Bali Maharaj has promised to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Lord Vamanadev that he would give him whatever he wanted, specifically 3 steps of land. And Shukracharya realizes, that's the spiritual master of Bali Maharaj, Shukracharya realizes that this particular Brahman is actually Lord Vishnu, and he's going to take everything away from Bali Maharaj. And therefore, Shukracharya won't have any more dakshin at that particular point. Good guru. So Shukracharya is telling Bali Maharaj, don't fulfill your vow or your promise. And he tells him, there's actually reasons why you don't fulfill promises or vows. And that's in the last chapter. Let me go back to that. And this is really a dharmic. He said, and some of them are actually acceptable. He picked some that are acceptable. He said, there's reasons to lie. I'm going to read this. Don't blame me. In flattering a woman to bring her under control. In joking, in a marriage ceremony, in earning one's livelihood when one's life is in danger, in protecting cows in Brahminical culture, or in protecting a person from an enemy's hand, falsity is never condemned. Now, I'm going to unpack that particular statement. Some of the things are true. First of all, it's not all right to flatter someone to bring them under your control. That is not dharmic. That is very bad. But it's not all right to lie in a particular circumstance. In joking, yeah, it is all right. Or else I'd be in trouble. In a marriage ceremony, it's not all right to lie. So he's got half of them here. In earning one's livelihood, Prabhupada said it is all right to lie. What do I mean? Prabhupada said if you're a businessman, there's a simple lie that you say, what? Anyone know? For you, there's no profit. Yeah, lowest prices of the Black Friday. You know, like Cyber Monday, Cyber Friday, you know. And even the devotees, they just, you know, I get these texts from devotees. It's Cyber Monday. Little Cyber Week. Little do they realize that that's the way they utilize just to get rid of products that are just outdated or something like that. You know, anyway, you know, they have over inventory on certain things, so you run a sale. That's called a loss leader. You ever heard of that before? A loss leader means you buy it and it brings you in to buy other things. Just like in supermarket, they actually sell certain things like sugar to give you diabetes. And then they sell sugar to at less price than they actually pay for it. So you go in and buy everything else. You buy those nice little berries, the organic berries for $4 that cost them 10 cents to put in the store. You know, obviously they're making a profit. Anyway, so earning one's livelihood, it's all right. When one's life is in danger, it's all right. In protecting cows, it's all right. And Brahminical culture, it's all right. Or in protecting a person from an enemy's hand, falsity is never condemned. So he has some of these things right. Because that's one of the things that Grandfather Bhishma recognized after the Battle of Kurukshetra. That he had made a mistake. He didn't lie when he was supposed to lie. He just told the truth, but the truth became adharmic, or telling the truth became adharmic when the result was adharma. And actually that particular understanding of ethics is called consequentialism, which I've mentioned several times before. What is consequentialism? Consequentialism means you actually consider the result of a particular action. And that consideration of the result of the action in terms of ethics is actually what makes something ethical or not ethical. And the example given in the Mahabharata that proved the point was that Grandfather Bhishma mentioned that he mentioned a story. He said once upon a time there was a family that was being attacked by dacoits, and the dacoits were running after the family to kill the family, innocent family, and the family took shelter in a sage's ashram. And the dacoits, that means criminals, went to the sage and said, "Where is the family?" And the sage said, "I cannot tell a lie. The family is in my ashram." And so the family was killed. And so the sage had to suffer the karmic reactions for assisting the dacoits in killing the family because he told the truth. So there are certain circumstances. But other than that, and here is Bali Maharaj's statement about truthfulness, which is really important. There is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, "I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar." It's a direct quote from the Bhagavatam. And this is taken actually as Siddhanta. Purport. On the surface of the earth there are many great mountains and oceans that are very heavy. And Mother Earth has no difficulty carrying them. But she feels very much overburdened when she carries even one person who is a liar. It is said that in Kali Yuga, lying is a common affair. Mayaiva Vyavaharike, Bhagavatam 12:2-3. Okay. Even in the most common dealings, people are accustomed to speaking so many lies. No one is free from the sinful reactions of speaking lies. Under the circumstances, one can just imagine how this has overburdened the earth and indeed the entire universe. And of course, telling the truth is a sub-religious principle. It's not even a religious principle. For example, we find in the Ten Commandments, which Prabhupada actually talked about when he was dealing with Christians. Anyway, not this particular commandment, but he talked about another commandment, thou shalt not kill. But he talked about the Ten Commandments. In the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not bear false witness, which is the same thing as lying. And actually, utilizing the Ten Commandments, especially the one about thou shalt not kill, Prabhupada was able to defeat all the Christians whenever he talked to them. I was listening this morning, and Prabhupada was having a conversation with a group of devotees. And he said to the devotees, and Panchadrita, Swami, and Harikesh were there. And he said to them, how do you prove to the Christians, or how do you preach to the Christians to try to convince them to join us? And they came up with all these arguments that didn't really work. Prabhupada said, no, that's not it. One argument was that we're serving Krishna 24 hours a day, which is probably a lie for most of us. We're very proud as devotees. Are we actually serving Krishna 24 hours a day? I mean, just to be honest, we're devotees, therefore we're serving 24 hours? No. Prabhupada was serving Krishna 24 hours a day. I mean, after the morning program, then we go and serve ourselves for 8 hours. And then we go give a class in the evening, making believe that we've been serving Krishna. So we go eat, serve our senses, watch CNN, to see what the news is. Talk to the parents of my disciples, try to cool them down. So Prabhupada said, no, that's not it. And then they said, well, we chant. And then Prabhupada said, oh, no, but they go to the church and pray. And then finally they came to the point of what? That they don't follow the order of God. They're engaged in killing. So that was the argument that Prabhupada utilized 99% of the time when dealing with Christians, that they don't follow God's orders. So that's a sub-religious, the sub-religious principle, thou shalt not kill. Also, don't bear false witnesses. So it's really important to follow that. Now, why is it important to follow it? Prabhupada actually said that we should not lie to some people because one will get in the habit. Prabhupada gave the example on as far as preaching is concerned. He said, it's like trying to catch a fish without getting wet. What does that mean? That if you start lying, then it actually gets you in a certain mode of nature, that is the mode of untruthfulness, and you won't be able to distinguish after a while whether you're lying to devotees or not lying to devotees, and you're lying to preach Krishna consciousness, or lying to distribute books. And people were doing this. They said we're collecting for the poor orphans in Bangladesh or something like that. That was a big thing at that particular time. The starving people of Bangladesh. Prabhupada said, if you're going to do that, you've got to give money to Bangladesh. So Prabhupada very much stressed this principle of truthfulness, and we should stick to it in our own lives, internally and externally. And that way we will be respected, because we really want to be respected. Not for our own self. We say, I don't want Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, or anything like that. But we want our movement to be respected. Just like yesterday I was talking to, parents of a devotee, who should remain nameless. And I was a long conversation. And this lady was saying that she spoke to a college dean or something like that, and the college dean said, well, the Hare Krishnas, they're just a cult. Now, that's a pejorative term. And we've already proved in court, our movement has already proved in court that we're not a cult. We're actually a bona fide religious path that's thousands of years old. I mean, like the devotees presented all of Prabhupada's books to the judge. And, it was proven. But still there's that impression that people have. And so to actually dissipate that particular impression, we have to act perfectly in society. Like Prabhupada said, that his followers were perfect gentlemen. Now, we understand that's not a lie. Prabhupada wanted us. That means that Prabhupada wanted us to act like perfect gentlemen and perfect ladies. That means don't tell lies, be clean, be outstanding members, follow the law, don't be into QAnon conspiracy theories. We have to look like we're sane people. Otherwise, our movement will never be respected in society, and we won't be able to spread it in a widespread fashion or please the acharyas. So, anyway, so I'm just stressing the principle of truthfulness. So, any questions or comments? We have about half a minute. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, but well, the word cult has many definitions according to the context. It can mean, a group of people who believe in one thing, but it has a pejorative meaning in America, which means, some group headed up by some guy who's collecting all the money and has everybody hoodwinked. Yeah, we should be able to explain the meaning of cult. Perhaps there should be footnotes in the books or something when Prabhupada uses that term, because nowadays it's a pejorative term. In other words, the meaning of it, the common meaning of the word is just very bad. You're a cult.